What made you realize you could sing?
Well, I sung in school about the age of 10, 11, just sung in the playground at school, and kids used to say, "Oh, sing that song, sing that song." That happened a few times. Then I just daydreamed about it, and it was only really when I started work, I met a guitar player, and then actually first time in my life sang with an instrument, with a guy playing an instrument, and I thought, oh, this is good. This is easy. It was like it just happened easy, and that's how it took off, really. And even up to the point of after Iron Maiden, I still wasn't really driven, if you know what I mean. It was still just a hobby, a pastime type of thing. It was only when more started, it actually being a professional musician took off.
Who were your biggest influences growing up?
I loved the Beatles. I really do. I still do. It was only in my teenage years I sort of went off of them, I suppose, because that's when I got into Sabbath and Zeppelin. So, because it was Ozzy Osbourne, Robert Plant, and Ian Gillan. Ian Gillan is now been my favourite singer. He was probably my third favourite singer at the beginning, but at the end, Ian Gillan's still my favourite singer. And Paul Rodgers from Free. And then obviously Rob Halford killed everybody. Yeah. when I heard Sad Wings of Destiny, it just blew me away. So Rob Halford was God for about 8 years.
Yeah, he's an amazing singer.
Oh yeah, and I loved every aspect. The melodies, the words. It was wonderful. Not so much of a Judas Priest fan nowadays, except for when Defender of the Faith. That's basically when I finished. Like Screaming for Vengeance, I liked. Yeah, that period. Definitely.
I heard their newest album, Firepower.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard a few songs, but it hasn't stuck as much.
No.
I don't listen to an album over and over again anymore. I just have songs, and I try and listen to songs randomly, songs I've not heard of, from all periods of time nowadays, new, old, very old, just stuff I've never heard, because there's a million songs out there I just haven't heard. So I like to hear new stuff all the time.
If you had to pick a non-rock or metal vocalist, who would be your favorite then?
Or non-rock? Difficult to say. Probably the first one comes in mind is Seal. And I've got to say another one which is pretty close second is Cliff Richard, funnily enough.
Yeah.
And very strange, but you like what you like, and if you don't worry about fashion, you just like what you like.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, rehearsal-wise, we worked quite hard, and it was fun. It was cooperative. We all worked together. We were always trying to achieve the same goal together. Steve come in with the material in the most part, and we just followed his lead, putting ourselves in that role. Steve never told us exactly what to do. He just gave us the guidelines with the bass lines and we just played. So that was really good. That was the first band that I'd say I was in. I was in like bedroom sort of acoustic-y stuff, rehearsal studios occasionally, covers trying to write, but Iron Maiden was the first real band I was in. It was so it's hard to actually compare with anyone else, but yeah, it was good. It was a band it was worth believing in, even then, even in the beginning times. There was some magic there.
Yeah.
Well, some of the songs you know very well yourself, so it was good.
Yeah. Can you remember any of the songs you sang during that time?
Yeah. Right. Well, there was Iron Maiden, of course. Rothschild, it's probably my favourite song of the set. Let's see. I keep on forgetting.
Did you do Phantom of the Opera?
No, no, that was after me. That was definitely way after me.
Oh.
Phantom of the Opera. God,
Prowler, maybe?
Innocent Exile, Another Life, Strange World. Oh, it's amazing. Because I was talking about this like the beginning of the year, over and over again. I could remember them all. It's just gone blank. I was told I did Prowler, but I can't remember. So I remember the covers. I've Got the Fire. I know I definitely didn't do Running Free. That was after me.
What about Burning Ambition?
Burning Ambition, thanks. Yeah, name a few for me. Yeah, Burning Ambition was one, definitely. Yeah, because some of the stuff was on, not so much was on the first album, but more of the stuff that I was involved in was on the second album. So I'm just, is it Innocent Exile? It goes that's Innocent Exile, isn't it?
Yeah.
My life is so empty. We've done obviously a few that I've never heard of since as well. We've done a few earlier ones, which never made record, but I can't remember them off the top of my head. Sorry, that was like I was about 18 when that was out, and I'm 63 now, so it's really hard to sometimes remember.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry.
Was there any demo or a concert recorded with the first?
No,
lineup?
nothing, unfortunately. I was actually surprised the amount of photos I've seen with me and Iron Maiden. There's maybe about 6, 8 photos. I didn't even know they were taken. Couldn't even remember them, so I was quite surprised.
Yeah.
Because recording yourself is an impossible thing. I kind of remember there was one guy that used to see us regular at the Cart and Horses on a Thursday night. I think he had a reel-to-reel tape player in one of them ordinary square microphones plugged in. I think there might be a recording somewhere, but I can't swear to that.
We need to find that guy.
Yeah, see, I can't remember. I remember he was regular, but I wouldn't know what he would look like today. That's for sure.
That's very interesting. How was it to come back to Cart and Horses and sing the old Maiden songs?
I did not suspect to feel so high. I call it probably the most important day of my life. I know it wasn't a big audience, but it was all about me. I've never been like that. You know, I've always been a band member. It's always us. But the thought of it just being me and the friendliness and just the good vibes of that day, I'm still astonished. That day, I think, has changed my life.
Wow.
Actually. I was very bitter about music, but it's made me determined not to sing here. I kind of, no one was interested, you know. I was just singing for a living. People were watching television while I was singing, and it was covers. It was terrible, actually. It's for a living. But going back, even though, you know, it was barely rehearsed, it was just great to sing them songs and sing it to people that really was interested. It was fantastic. And with Air Force as well, learning their songs really quick and singing them songs, you know, it was just great to have a good audience. And I thought, I don't want to sing in Australia anymore. Yeah. I really don't. I want the last thing I sing to be the Cart and Horses, because that's the last memory of my voice will be there. It means so much to me. I can't overstress it.
It was an amazing night or day.
Yeah. I've not watched much of the videos because I'm frightened of spoiling it, the memory. You know, because sometimes you perform and you think you're really good, then you see it back and you go, oh no, I did that wrong. I was out of tune, out of time, and it spoils it. I've kept them. I'm going to look at them Monday, but I just want to enjoy that moment a bit longer, just in case it weren't as good as I thought.
I've watched the videos many times, so you don't have to worry about that. It was
Oh, thank you.
fantastic.
I appreciate that. I've seen the odd bit, and yeah, but I still think, oh, I wish I did that, and I wish I was brave enough to sing that higher. And yeah, so I can't help it. I just can't help being critical. It's, I guess, basically, that's my strength, probably. Yeah, that's my strength, because I don't really train my voice. I don't look after it. That's why I was a bit. When I saw them questions, I thought, shit, how do I answer them? I can't. You might say on one hand, and I'm not meaning this, that I was gifted, because what I got, I never worked for. It was given me. So I guess I'd say I was gifted. What kept me going was my love of music, my love of singing, my love of the aggression.
Yeah.
That helped, and I just think I felt the job rather than like I had a few singing lessons in London when I become professional. I thought, yeah, I better have some lessons. The singing teacher was quite high up in the centre of London. I can't remember his details, name or anything, but he was shocked the way I sung. He says, you sing from the throat, not from the stomach. So he taught me, and I did it. I did it at gigs occasionally, and it did help. But the thing is, when I get excited, when I'm with the audience and I get excited, it all goes, and it's back to what I've always been.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I kind of seem a bit naive about singing. It just happened. and I'm glad, really. I love heavy rock because my voice is best when I'm singing that way.
Yeah. In 1981, you played Monsters of Rock with AC/DC and other great bands.
Yeah.
How was that?
Kind of disappointing. We had the opportunity of being like second on at Reading or first on at Donington, and I got excited about wanting to do Donington because I saw Rainbow a year before, and I thought it was an absolutely great day out. So I was plugging for that, and I think maybe it was bad for us being first on because PAs weren't quite right, the crowd weren't quite there. I remember getting covered in a lot of food. I was getting food thrown at us, but it was fine, you know. It wasn't throwing food at us because we're bad. I don't know what it was, but you know, it wasn't so much that. And it went really well, but my heart was set it all higher because I was at Reading. I remember seeing Rainbow there, and it was incredible. And on hindsight, maybe Reading would have been better being higher up the bill. We would have had an audience that wanted us, you know, more. The unfortunate thing is, when we finished, we had to go all the way back to an airport, Heathrow or Gatwick, I can't remember, and fly to Germany to do an outdoor festival. So we had to leave straight away. We were leaving, I think, as the next band. Was it Blue Oyster Cult or Slade? Slade, I think. So we were actually leaving as they were playing the next band on. So we missed the rest of it. It would have been nice to see AC/DC there. Didn't meet them, but saw the big bill on the stage. So yeah, it was good, but yeah, I was personally disappointed. I expected more.
Yeah. Was it a different approach singing to in Iron Maiden, more sweet, Wildfire, Crimzon Lake, etc.?
Well, when I started with Iron Maiden, I didn't really know what to do. I didn't see many live bands at that stage. I didn't really have a clue. My singing was fine, you know, and Steve was mentioning during the course of my time in the band, you've got to get your stage act together. I can't even remember what I did. I used to play air guitar in the bedroom. I think before it ever got public, I was playing air guitar a few years before I was actually in Iron Maiden. So, and pretending I was doing all this stuff, but live maybe, it just didn't happen right. So I learnt a lot when Steve Harris let me go, and I started with other bands participating a lot more at rehearsals and trying to be the part. But it was basically when I was with Moore, when I joined Moore, was when I actually changed and really got my act together. It was a very aggressive band. It wasn't very classy as such. I'd always sort of called it a bit like Motorhead, with a guy trying to sound like Judas Priest singing. That was kind of what I described Moore as. And and the aggression, I fed off of it. I liked the aggression. I was like Jekyll and Hyde. I'm just a quiet sort of guy normally, but as soon as I hit stage, if I've got the crowd's there and all that, I just get aggressive, but in a good way, just angry, and the anger gives me more energy, and it's probably good therapy as well.
Yeah, I think so.
Having an emotional outlet. So, yeah, it was, like I said, nothing was really planned with me. It just sort of happened. And I suppose the more I was doing it, the more it was becoming an act. More it was like, oh, I'll do this there and I'll do that there, So I was learning on the job, I guess.
How did you end up in Sweet?
Well, the girlfriend at the time, when I was living in England, she sent the Wildfire album, the second Wildfire album, to this ad that was advertising. It said, the ad was something like, a big band's going to travel to Australia soon and they need a singer. So she entered it. Then I found out it was Sweet, and I went, oh dear, Sweet. Never really listened to them. Well, luckily enough, what I auditioned on was like Fox on the Run and things like that, which I heard and knew anyway. So, I ended up getting a job out of 300 people. And that was probably professionally the best time of my life, because I had my own hotel room. I wasn't travelling with the gear in the back of the van. All them pluses, like there was food at the venues, there was alcohol at the venues. It was managed by somebody. I didn't have to worry about a thing except my job. And because I got the job 2 weeks before the tour, I not knew any of their songs as such, I had words everywhere. They were in the days when I didn't need glasses, so I could put a few words on paper and read them. But and then I'd look a tape. The engineer, after the first night, gave me a tape, and I said, give me a tape for a couple of weeks. And I used to just, in the morning after a gig, go for walks. It was around Bondi at first. Go for walks with the tape and just walk the beach listening to the previous gig. So that's how I learned, basically. That, and but professionally, like being a professional musician, it was a great time. I was getting paid as well. It's great. It was good.
Yeah.
And that was the best thing, and plus I got to really like the guys and respect them. I've had quite a lot of respect for Mick Tucker and Andy Scott, and played with Phil Lanson, who's been Uriah Heep's keyboard player for the last 30 odd years. Same thing, love and respect, and same with Malcolm McNulty on bass. Yeah, it was good. We were all good friends. It was all smooth. It was fun, 100% fun. Couldn't ask for more. But it was my songs. But it wasn't my songs. That was the only dark side.
Yeah. That live album is very good.
Yeah, I'm pleased with it. And not much was changed. And I don't mind this secret going out, but most of my vocals through the choruses, I was singing sharp, and I never knew. Because all the backing vocals were coming out through the foldback at once. I lost my pitching, but at least they were sharp and not flat.
Yeah.
So choruses, I had to re-record my voice, but everything else, pretty well everything else except for maybe a few keyboard overdubs, is the actual genuine show. So I'm reasonably proud of that recording. Yeah. And the recording actually done with Sweet, the I'll Be There and the original songs on the album, if you've heard it. We all wrote that together and worked really well. Mick Tucker and Andy Scott were excellent producers. Oh, yeah. Yeah, very, very happy.
Yeah. In London, you said that touring with Sweet in Australia was what made you choose Australia as your home.
Yeah, it's basically the reason. I thought I'm more famous here than I am in my own country, because I was doing TV shows and there was sellout gigs. So many, the tour was extended by I think 4 weeks to go back and do other shows. It was that brilliant. It just blew me away. And then I fell in love in all that sort of thing that happens, and I just thought I'll come here, which was probably musically the worst mistake I made, because I isolated myself from everything I was comfortable with and people I knew, and I'm just not quite that character to go out there and grab hold of it with 2 hands. So musically, it wasn't a good move, but for the rest of it, I'm happy.
Yeah, that's good.
Actually, going back to the Carting Horses and experiencing that audience again, I've forgotten.
Yeah.
That rock audience, I've forgotten being in front of them. It was there. Like I said, I'm still buzzing. Let's see, yeah, you got Crimzon Lake in there. I don't like talking about them because that was, I've got to mention Crimzon Lake because that was probably musically the most exciting time for me. It's the first band I was with. It was a proper original band, had decent songs. I started contributing songs and really great musicianship, but there was a couple of the guys in there who were a little bit crazy. I was warned about them, but I said, no, that won't happen with me. No, it'll all go good, but it all fell a bit. And that broke my heart. That was probably about 8 years ago, and talking about it, yeah, it still breaks my heart because it wasn't the best thing, but I think it could have grew. It was just bass, drums, guitar and voice. And that's my favourite combination. I like one guitar, one fat guitar to me is nice. It allows the bass player and the drummer somewhere to go.
Do you have any warm-up exercises you recommend?
What I recommend? Well, what I was told by that singing teacher, which didn't seem any trouble, was just hum in different notes, humming scales. It's just like a warming up, loosening up of that area. I like to not be too excited before a show because I can sometimes overdo it and start having breathing problems in the first song. So I just like to keep calm and the humming on the special gigs, and I've got the mental space to do it. Yeah, I just hum along for a couple of songs like what are being played beforehand. I should be doing scales, I should be gargling, I should be doing lots of good things, but I didn't. So, like I said, my voice was a gift. I never earned it. I'm more thinking about the attitude. For me, it was the brain behind the voice what made me better.
Yeah.
The want to be better. I was never good enough, so that was probably my angle. That was probably my training, I'd say, the mental side of it. Because my ego was my voice. If I had no voice, I had no ego. If you got no ego, you shouldn't be on stage. When you have a tour, you've got to be good on every show on that tour. So you've got to be disciplined. You've got to be controlled. So I have that respect. So I do try and not stay up all the time. There was a lot of rock and roll going on, but you've got to make sure you're good for tomorrow. Yeah. So I guess, again, part of the training is behaving yourself in trying to keep fit and pacing yourself. But yeah, if I trained more, I could have been better. And I think I would have rose to the occasion and trained harder if I was in, if more carried on going, because I did start taking lessons as soon as it was professional. And it was good, and I went for quite a time. But I found in the end, I was hitting a ceiling. I needed maybe a different point of view to improve better. You can't learn from one teacher. Yeah, it's like Neil Peart, who to me is the best drummer ever I've heard of, and he's still got lessons late in his career from other drummers. It's that's why you're good. You don't stick to the one recipe. You have lots of things, and my voice did change as I got more influenced. Like I said with Seal, I think sometimes about Seal when I sing, you know, as opposed to in the old days, just thinking about Ozzy Osbourne and Robert Plant or Rob Halford. You know, I think of other singers now as my tastes expanded. And there's a lot of people, there's a lot of voices out there I don't particularly think are good singers, but I like them, you know. It's like Brian Ferry, for one. I didn't really like his voice, but nowadays I like his character. I mean, they're old songs, but, you know. So, yeah, I think my mind changed a lot. But again, no real exercises. So it's a long answer to that question, I'm afraid. Yeah.
It was a good answer.
Oh, good. Oh, well, something you'll get out of it, hopefully.
Yeah. Many struggle with the breaking point between chest voice and head voice. How do you go to the head voice without getting the breaking point in your voice, like the thing?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean. That is very hard nowadays. The head voice sort of is easier if I do it very early. Because I used to do Child in Time in Australia in a Deep Purple cover band, and I found it was that one in the middle was the hard one, not the screaming one. Because when I do that last one, I am in that head voice.
Yeah. And
I could do it powerfully, and I didn't step from one to the other. I find it difficult, but not impossible. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So, yeah, like my range has obviously suffered. So now that the head voice, I don't really use that much, and it's probably not very powerful anyway. I actually try and work a bit lower if I can now, so it sounds like there's a big range in there. You know, my highs are not as high, so I just concentrate on maybe getting a few more lower notes in just to give me that contrast.
Yeah.
But again, that plays more when I'm doing my own thing, because then I'm designing the way I sing and using my strengths and weaknesses for stuff I've written. Sometimes you cannot get by it, like Stairway to Heaven, that very last verse of it. That was nigh impossible for me to sing, but I could sing at the same time. I could sing Victim of Change's note perfect. You know, just certain songs, certain attitudes. I think it's to do with breathing. Sometimes when I sing a cover song, because I've never sung it before, I find it challenging, and then I somehow, after a week or 7-10 times singing it, I find a little cheat somewhere inside my body. Somewhere, I don't know if it's muscular or posture or anything, but I find a little cheat, and it just, I'll get it, you know, I'll get to do it.
Yeah.
And it sticks. But sometimes it's very hard to sing, for me to sing what a singer's done on a record, trying to duplicate it. But yeah, you find a trick, and it's either in the head or in the body. Now, I'm afraid it's hard for me to explain, because it just sort of happens. Again, because I've never worked for it, I don't actually recognise it. Yeah, sorry, I sound a real ignoramus, but like I said, my singing comes from the heart, not the throat, not the stomach. Because I want to be good. I just want to be good. Just think, yeah, it's the mental attitude, because there's been a few times, like, I had a car accident. I was driving a car and had an accident. I managed to still get to the gig, and I had a thoroughly good gig. My grandmother's funeral was the afternoon before a gig. In much as I was upset because she raised me, I still done the gig, and it was a good gig. So I don't know what to say to that. You know, it's the audience that count, I guess.
Yeah. You
put
energy from
yourself in the hands of the audience, and if they appreciate you, you actually give them something special. You know, something that you couldn't normally do. Like I when it comes to recording, I like the way you can cheat. You can sing half a verse, you know, or you can sing half a line. Yeah, I like that cheating, but my performance is never as good as it feels when I'm live, because of that audience thing. So I'm never, as happy with a recording as I am with certain concerts. But then again, I never listen back to them as well, because of the fear of them being crap. So I guess it's the weird way my mind works.
Do you use falsetto or head voice when you're hitting the highest notes, like in Child time?
Yeah, it would be falsetto. It would be falsetto. But again, falsetto mainly when I'm singing words. But I can normally, like the Child in Time thing, if it's a scream, I can normally get them higher, but I would not be able to sing words. So again, I guess that's probably the way I hold my mouth in posture.
Yeah,
I guess, like I'm not deliberately thinking all of this. I'm a real natural.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to mean it in a good way. But I guess I'm also lazy. I don't know. It's hard, I love music too much to actually do an analysis while I'm doing it.
Yeah.
The music takes me away. And sounds corny, but I think that's probably true. The music carries me. That's why I like doing original stuff still more than the covers that I have been doing. But we all got to earn a living somehow.
Yeah, it's easier to earn money from cover gigs, actually.
Yeah, that's it. There's no audience for the original stuff. No. You've got to be star of stage, screen and radio before people come and see you nowadays. In the I want to see music way. People go obviously for something to drink, watch some TV and play pool. I'm often singing to people just playing pool. It's crap for me anyway.
Yeah.
I'm just not that professional, I guess. I've worked with a few people that are very professional that way, but I find it personally cold. Apart from more, which I guess we were playing to play the way it went, but again, Sweet was the first thing I actually walked out with money in my pocket after doing a gig. So it was, I've probably, quickly thinking, I've recorded 4 albums by that time, recorded in the States, pretty well sung everywhere in Europe, in England. And it was Sweet in 1985 was when I first started making some money.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I obviously did it for the love of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Things have changed here a lot over the 30 years I've been living here. You see, another reason I come to live in Australia, the live scene was so good. But I guess it would be singing in Sweet. But I thought, come here, this is going to be cool. And I blew it. And I didn't really realise how much I blew it until I sung on Cart Day, Sunday the 20th of January.
Yeah.
I was surprised. That wasn't a big part of my holiday, but it ended up being the biggest part of my holiday. It was a surprise. I was surprised how encouraging the audience was, and how generous the audience was. There was actually a lord that served in Parliament at that gig as well.
Yeah, I think I met him.
He's an Iron Maiden fan, and he was loving it, and I thought, this has never happened before. It's been watched by a lord, and he loved it. It was like, how good's that in your life?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I'd jump back at music if every gig was like that. I'd do it. I'd do it happily for the joy.
Yeah, it was a fantastic day.
Yeah, it was a great day, and it was very well organised.
Yeah. I'm so glad I took the trip over from Norway for this. Yeah.
Talking about, actually thinking about the Cart and Horses, you've heard they've closed for renovations, have you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully they're going to come back bigger and better than ever.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so.
Is it just inside they're going to refurbish, or is it the outside as well?
I'm really not sure at the moment. Yeah. Really not sure, but it's funny, the place all is different to what I remember, and I haven't walked in there since Iron Maiden. Like it was close to me. I think I went in once to see Steve Harris about something, and I never think I went there again because I was sad about it. You know, as you know, I would have liked to have stayed with him and all of that, but like I was too much of a newbie.
No.
I just didn't have that spark. I got it later though, but yeah, I didn't get it then. But it's my first band.
Yeah.
Not a bad first band, I guess.
No.
Yeah.
I don't think you could have done better.
That's interesting because if I get a cold or my voice gets tired, I used to drink that lemon honey and glycerine hot before a show. Just sip it. And that worked. But since I've been living in Australia, now I'm doing Southern Comfort. I do the same thing.
Yeah.
I think it's the sugar, the sweetness of everything, you know, coating. Yeah, I just saw that one with Damage. I'm just looking at the questions as we're talking. Yeah, but I just thought, yeah, that's something I can talk about.
When you play many shows in a row, how do you maintain your voice on the road? I learnt not to do all the shouting. You know, when you're in a loud place and you're shouting in everyone's ear. I learnt after shows and during shows and, you know, days off. When I do them sort of things, I just normally stay quiet and I don't talk unless the music finishes and I say it quickly, you know. So I don't use the voice too much. I talk during the day normal. And I am a strong believer, you know, 8 hours of sleep fixes the body. So when I was touring, especially in the country towns where everything closes by the time I get home anyway, I try and get good sleep. That's basically it, you know. Keep warm if I'm in a cold place, keep my throat warm. Just, you know, all the things that Mum would tell you, your mother would tell you. You know? But again, there was no real tricks. Oh, and I used to smoke. Used to smoke and sing at the same time, like in the well, even with Sweet actually in the mid '80s. But yeah, I gave up smoking, and that was a great help. That was a great help. It for the length of singing I could do, and breathing. Yeah, so smoking and singing, I've done it. And I've not done it, and giving up smoking's a good thing. If there's one thing you can do for your voice, is stop smoking. It's good for the pocket. It's good for your life. So basically, they're the rules. You know, just look after yourself. You know, don't go out there and try and stay up all day and all night because your voice won't handle it. I found that out pretty soon in my career. Bands like Motley Crue and Ozzy Osbourne, I can't understand how they are still touring.
Yeah, it's incredible. But I should imagine it's quite hard for them. You know, key changes and stuff like that. It's, well, Ozzy Osbourne had a tremendous... Well, I loved his voice. I would have killed for Ozzy Osbourne back in, what was it, 1972, 73? When I discovered him. Yeah, but... as he's got older, obviously, and the self-abuse plays into it, you know, the overindulging.
Yeah.
But
I saw some concert clips from one of the last Black Sabbath shows.
Oh, yeah?
He was singing out of tune all the time.
Really? That's disappointing.
Yeah.
It is disappointing because that's happened to me a few times. Seen some bands that just didn't live up to it. Yeah, it hurts. I remember feeling that way about Zeppelin when I saw The Song Remains the Same. I was really disappointed with that film. And I still can't watch it. Because I still really like Zeppelin. Zeppelin to me, I suppose, are the heavy rock version of the Beatles. Their songs are still good. Their good songs are still good. You know, the Immigrant Song, oh, it's brilliant.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites.
Yeah, I love that song. What's it, 2 minutes, 26 seconds or something? It's brilliant. Something like that. Yeah. Yeah, so I'd say that's the heavy rock version of the Beatles, to me.
Yeah, they had that rock and roll type of chord progression and stuff.
Yeah, and the melodies were singable. You could sing them. Yeah, they were, but the attitude was brilliant. And what is it I heard today? Thank you. It came up on my iPod today. Thank you, and I thought, shit, I remember liking that in '72, and I still like it today. Yeah, that era of rock is still, I guess, the most important to me. That early '70s to the '80s. There was great stuff come out then.
Yeah, I don't think we will ever top that period.
Yeah, well, to me anyway, my age might have something to do with it, but yeah, that influenced me the most. Them first 10 years, I guess, of being at work. Oh, the Who was someone who I liked as well. I really liked the Who. Before they started to get older.
Yeah.
No, Who's Next, I thought was one of the most classic albums on the planet. Who's Next? I thought every song on that was great.
Yeah. The Tommy album as well.
Oh, I love Tommy. Yeah. That's still good that's still good. I've never heard it in the right order though. It's all random, so they come on at different times. It's something I'm planning to do one day, is to just sit and listen to Tommy from start to finish in the right order.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the one thing you miss. That's the one thing I miss about vinyl. You put it on at the beginning, you play it to the end. But I used to like vinyl because I used to hold it while I was listening to the album. I was reading every word on the cover and on the sleeves. Used to love the gatefolds. I miss that. What I miss is the artwork on CDs now. Well, they ain't even CDs are even gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. You something there's lost.
Yeah.
But it's I remember them reading the albums, reading the words. Now it's all too small when you buy them on a CD. I got my old eyes.
I saw now that vinyls actually sell more than CDs.
This is what I've been hearing. Yeah. And well, some of the factories actually bought the old vinyl press, and they're making good business too.
Yeah.
You see, and when vinyls were there, you couldn't copy them as easy. The copies are always bad, so you didn't bother copying them. As soon as it went digital, the record business died, didn't it? Really?
Yeah.
Digital definitely killed the radio stars.
Yeah, everyone just listens on Spotify or YouTube, and
I like that. I like that for convenience.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's all too convenient now. And that's what's happened with gigs. Now you can buy a DVD of a live gig and watch it from the front row without going out and paying for a ticket. You can drink and stay at home and watch a band. And when I was a kid, the only way you could see a band was to go to one.
Yeah.
We had Top of the Pops once a week, and that was it. So people went out to see music. Now it's too easy.
Yeah, people like to stay home and eat pizza or taco in the weekends.
I'm guilty of that too. Yeah. But it's all just too easy now. And that, I'm wondering if the new generations are missing something. I don't know. I'll never know, but holding that album cover and just reading it from end to end was brilliant.
Yeah.
And then you put it on again. It's... Yeah. Them days are long gone. For me, anyway. I just like listening to random new stuff. Something my Steve Newhouse, he introduced me to who I never heard of until this time last year, was a Porcupine Tree.
Oh yeah.
It's fantastic. That Stephen Wills, well, for me, is brilliant, and I've never heard of him. And I love his music because I'm a Rush fan, so I love that sort of different timings, and I like music you actually have to work on.
Yeah. I think their bass player is extremely good.
Oh yeah, they're all talented, and his writing's really interesting too. I like music where you have to work. You know, you have to listen. You have to be careful. You know, it's like don't miss this bit. You know, and yeah, I like that way.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm sort of more fond of like the Rush side of music than the AC/DC side of music.
Yeah.
I like things that are just a little bit. Although I must admit, I've listened to the last couple of AC/DC albums and I was quite impressed.
Yeah. They
You know,
stick
I was
to,
quite
to their guns. And...
yeah, they are. But the music seemed a little bit more interesting to me as well.
Do you have any plans for the future when it comes to music?
More like hopes. I'm hoping to get an opportunity to come back and do something singing wise again, like Cart Day. There's been Steve Newhouse and Mike has been trying to organise something, but it ain't really going to be profitable enough to actually pay for a band and all of that. But if I get that opportunity, I would. I'd start training, exercising, getting my body up to shape, getting my voice up to shape, and giving it a real good go. But as far as here, if I was to lose my job, I'd probably sing again for money. But believe me, it would be worse than working in a factory to me. But at least it's something I can do, and the pay is not overly bad. But not really any plans. I mean, I'm 63. The voice is surprisingly okay for my age. But where I want to be is so far away. You know, and I've got to keep home going. I've got to have enough money to keep home going while I'm away, and plus I've got to have somewhere to stay. You know, all them expense things. When I had that money and I used it to come to England to say goodbye, it basically was that. I found some friends at that gig who actually offered me a return flight from Air United. And there was talk about trying to do something in February, but that, like I said, that idea petered out. So I still like to try and use that ticket and come back. And if I just come back for something social and Steve would find out and it would be planned early enough, maybe there could be another Cart Day, something we could do again or something, you know. I mean, what I'd like to do is a dream is be with a band and support Maiden on their 45th year. Yeah. I'd like to support Maiden someplace, you know, either England or Europe or something. Get a band together and do like a collection of my music, you know, and, you know, not Iron Maiden as much because that would be bad news, playing Iron Maiden for an Iron Maiden gig, but play Wildfire in more and stuff like that and some sweet. That's a dream, but that's a dream I hope would come true, you know. But it's probably impossible. But that's what I'd like, you know. I don't want to do at all really what I'm doing here, and that's set covers in pubs. It's just heartbreaking for me. But if there was a chance of singing something that I used to write, that I wrote, or, you know, singing you know, like Moore would get back together, or Wildfire would get back together again. That sort of thing would be good. I'd love Wildfire to get together. That's my favourite band that I was actually in musically. I loved Wildfire. Yeah. You know, if doing something like that, I'd love to do. So I wouldn't call it a plan, more of a dream, more of a hope, more of a prayer. Yeah.
You also met Steve Harris and Terry Rance and Dave Sullivan at home with Steve Harris. Why can't you just create Iron Maiden, the original band?
I'd love to do that.
Yeah,
I would love to do that. You know, with Steve Harris in it though, it'd probably need a big venue, and who'd take the risk? I mean, your Cart and Horses. You know, if they knew Steve Harris would be in the Cart and Horses playing, the place would not be big enough, would it? But yeah, I'd like to do that. That would feel like coming home, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to do that. And it was great meeting Dave and Terry again. It really was, and it was great meeting Steve. It's like I haven't seen Steve since I supported Iron Maiden on the Killers tour with more. And it was funny, after all them years, it was like it's back to normal, you know. It was like all them years disappeared. It's the same bloke exactly, and he's done all that stuff, and it's the same guy. I think that's credit to him.
Yeah.
You know, to let all that fan power not go to his head, because that's a lot of power from them fans. Yeah, I think it'd go to my head. Yeah. So yeah, I was cold and dark and bitter about that history, but coming back and meeting Steve, it was a wonderful journey that I needed so much. No, I'm so grateful and pleased it all happened. Yeah, and then I met Steve Lazarus, who organises Iron Maiden's fan base and merchandising. It was great speaking to him as well, meeting him. Yeah, and it actually said, which surprised me when I said it, I said, at last I feel part of the Iron Maiden family.
Yeah.
Because even in Australia, there's like quiz shows, and then they say something like, you know, who's the lead singer of Iron Maiden? I'm going, fuck, I live in Australia. Can't I get away from it? You know, it was, but now I'm fine. I'm happy, you know. It's good. It's just, human ego, I suppose.
Yeah, it's a great thing to have on your, what's the call in?
Resume.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, I always say it's not so good. I was the first person to get kicked out of Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
So I don't really get overly excited about it. It's just nice to know that I'm connected to it, you know. I'd like to think I made a little bit of a name for myself in my own thing, but, you know, the Iron Maiden thing was a curse, but now it's a blessing. I don't normally talk about the old days music-wise. You know, I'm normally pretty quiet about it, so it's nice to actually talk and remember.
Yeah.
I just wish I could remember them early songs I did with Maiden. You know, it's I'm sure it's. I'm not. I went through it with Steve. There was about 8 songs, I think, and there was a few songs that no longer existed. That went by the wayside. Yeah, sorry, I still can't remember. I've been trying to think. Well, it's wonderful talking to you.
Yeah,
and
thank you so much.
Yeah, let me know how it goes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you have a lovely day.
You too.
Okay.
Good night for you.
See ya. Bye. Bye.
Bye.